Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Osborn. And on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic, impactful lessons that they've learned throughout the course of their business, share them with us so that we can all learn together. As always, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way that established businesses are creating a reliable acquisition channel of conversations with their ideal prospects. We use this method about 26 qualified leads and sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, endless social media posting, or any of the old, ineffective traditional marketing methods that everybody hates. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. The link to that will be in the show notes below. But I'm very excited to have on the show today Alex Kazlou. He's the owner of Virthium, where they provide authentic reputation reviews for products and services and people who create them, specifically feedback rebates for his clients' customers. So, Alex, welcome to the show today. I want to start off by asking you a question that I always love to start off with, which is this. If you were somehow able to go back in time to when you first started your business, but knowing what you know now, what would you do differently in the first 12 months?
Thanks, Jason. So I probably wouldn't do anything different. My first uh, dabbling in entrepreneurship was I was kind of thrown in it by, in a way, necessity. I was working at a Safeway bakery. Safeway is a chain of grocery stores here at night because I was going through school during the day, and I didn't like my job very much because it was at night. It was lonely. There was nobody there, and I was decorating cakes. This
Mm,
was one of my jobs. So I would come into work, and there are a dozen orders on the wall, and you take one after another, and you make them, and so they're all the same. And it felt like I was a conveyor belt, and it felt like I didn't even exist because nobody even saw me. I didn't interact with anyone. And one day, my manager calls me up and she says, Alex, the kid's mom, you remember the cake you made, the Spider-Man cake you made the day before? The kid's mom picked it up and she absolutely loved it. She was ecstatic. She wanted me to know, to tell you that she appreciated the work, right? And that made my day. And I realized that, hey, the things that I do, they're the centerpieces of amazing events, and it matters to people, right? But then I go back making another cake, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, well, I'm making this cake now. It will also be a centerpiece of an event. It will also be somebody's memory, and I will never know this story, right? And I was thinking, why is that? I want to know this, right? When people buy things from Safeway, right? They order it from Safeway, they pick it up from Safeway. And if somebody says, hey, this is a great cake, who made it? They say, hey, Safeway across the street. So they're grateful to a sign above the door, to a seven-letter word, right? And behind that door, there's a living, breathing human being who would really want to know how it
mm,
affected people's lives. And with technology today, you post a video on YouTube, you get likes, you get shares, you get comments, you post something on Reddit, you get some feedback. But why not at the job, right? So I changed my majors at school. I learned how to code, and a few months later, I built a website that's called arcadiabakery.com. It doesn't exist anymore, but that was my first first try at entrepreneurship. And the way it worked, right? Like cake decorators like me could create a profile, right? Just like LinkedIn, right? That you sign up, you create a profile, and you list the cakes that you make. And when people buy a cake, they're not buying it from Safeway anymore. They choose you or somebody else, and they base that decision not on something you say, but on the reviews that your cakes receive. So people can look at my profile and say they see Spider-Man cake, and hey, Alex made it 20 times, and there are 20 reviews, and people absolutely love it, right? And there are pictures and the
mm.
descriptions and everything. So for a customer, they're not buying a cat in a bag anymore. They're actually buying. They already know that this person knows what they're doing. It's an
Mm.
important event, right? It's important to know. And for me, it changed my entire life, my entire work overnight because I would wake up in the morning. I would think, how many cakes did I make? Like I made 10 cakes. How many people left reviews? What did they say? What images did they upload? And I would open my profile and I would read that, and every day, multiple times a day, I would be reminded why what I do is important. And I can see my customers. It's now my
Mm,
community. It's not something that I just do like there's an order on the wall, right?
yeah.
So I implement that. We get a lot more orders. People are happy. Everything's working. But in a way, it's a failure because um, management didn't know what I was doing. And once they found out, they said, "Hey, Alex, you know that you're violating a whole bunch of copyright laws here, right? Because it's a Marvel and Disney and a whole bunch of pictures that you put on your website, and you're interacting directly with customers. Like that's a big no-no." So they're like, "Shut it down immediately. You cannot do that here." So I did. I tried to implement it later, but in a way, like it was a hard thing to do to shut it down. But in a way, it was a big learning experience because
Mm,
by that time I already understood. Hey, this is not just cake decorators; it's everybody. You know, look around you. Like every little thing that surrounds your life, that makes up your life, is made by somebody. And we look at the brand, right? Like I have a cup here, right? Like oh, you can see it. But you have a product and it has a brand, and that's the sign above the door, right? But there are
mm,
people, engineers, project managers, designers, manufacturers. They're all put their lives and souls into this product, and your life literally depends on their work, and you have no idea who they are. So that's how Virthium was born, right? An independent platform that anybody can use, that they can list their products, invite their employees, offer feedback rebates, and get reviews for those products, so that employees get also recognition for that. So I wouldn't change anything. Back to your question, I wouldn't change anything because everything you do really is a learning experience. And if I
mm.
haven't done Arcadia Bakery, Virtue wouldn't exist. I wouldn't come up with feedback rebates. Yeah, it's just a uh, rite of passage, I guess.
Yeah, and what a great story, man. That's absolutely amazing. I always love to hear people's entrepreneurial journey of where they are now and how it started and the challenges and all that kind of stuff. It's really really interesting. Um, oh, is there any other big challenge that you faced in business? Obviously, that was a big one, starting something, getting shut down, having to restart. But is there another big challenge that you faced in your business that you just really stands out? And what's the lesson that you learned from that?
Probably the biggest challenge. There's a book by Jim McKelvey, founder of Square. It's called Innovation Stack, and in that book, he has this. He coined this term, or maybe he didn't, but linguistic gravity. This is the thing that if you create something new, right, and you're trying to describe it to people, they already have this word and a whole bunch of associations with it, right? When I say
Mm,
review, people understand review different than how I understand it, right? And sometimes you even have to come up with words to explain what you're doing. A feedback rebate, it's something I had to come up with because it didn't exist, right? A role credit, what I was talking about, inviting employees to be on the product, that didn't exist. I borrowed it from um, movies, right? You have credits in the movie, right? You have all of those people. What it's kind of like a
mm,
product in a way, right? So you can click on James Cameron, and here's his portfolio of a whole bunch of movies and reviews. So role credits, right? So, and it's super hard to explain to people because if it doesn't exist and you say words, but they understand it differently. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges, and also like when you're like an explorer, right? You don't have a map to go by, right? You don't really have anybody to turn to and say, hey, you've done this before, but nobody has, so you can't really get that. Like if I was studying a restaurant or a car wash or something, it would be much easier because I could be like, hey, you're an expert, tell me exactly what to do, and then I would innovate in a little corner there.
mm.
But if it's something completely new, it's much harder to find people who can help really
Yeah,
with an expertise.
yeah. Really interesting. Um, as you've grown what you do, like I totally understand what you're doing with the feedback rebates, which is absolutely cool. Very, very innovative in the way that you're doing that. What have you done to grow your business so that more and more people know about what you're doing?
Yes, so the way feedback rebates work is kind of they're viral by default. Right? Okay, so for example, if you have no idea what feedback rebate is, right, and you go to a website of one of my clients who is offering feedback rebates, right, instead of discounts. So you see the banner on top and it says buy now and get 10% cash back for your honest review after purchase, right? And you're like, okay, that's a great deal. I will buy this product and not that product. So they buy it, and then they get a link from me, right? So they just get notification from me. Hey, as promised, this store, this person offered you a feedback rebate for buying their product. All you have to do, click this link, leave register on my platform, leave a review, and you automatically get the cash back, right? As a partial refund. So once they do that, right? I don't know, 100, 1,000 people do it, and one of them might be like, "Hey, I have a business. I run a store. I sell things. I offer discounts. Why don't I offer feedback rebates instead?" And now they're offering feedback rebates to their clients. So
Mm,
I never actually had to heavily market it because it kind of works itself.
yeah.
A lot of my clients were from UK because I had one big client who installed my app, started offering feedback rebates, and now thousands of their customers got exposed to this process, and some of them loved it, and they had businesses, and they started using it, and that's how it kind of grew. I still haven't gone global in a way, like not many people still know about feedback rebates, but I'm hoping that's how it's going to work, and that's how it's been working up until now so far.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool, man. That's amazing. And it speaks, I think, volumes as well, where, someone they use the feedback rebate, see it, and like, oh, I want to implement that in my own business, which I think is really, really cool. Well, very, very quickly, like what's the goal over the next 2 to 3 years? What would you like to achieve in the business?
My goal is pretty grand. I want to live in a world where when you walk in a store or shop online, doesn't matter, right? Every product has a feedback rebate inside. So it's like having a check in every single package on the shelf. So instead of like having $5 off, $10 off, $50 off, you have $10 rebate inside, $50 rebate inside, and so on. And every product would also, so you would buy the product, right? And you would come pay for the full price, come home, open the package, scan the QR code, leave a review. And most people would do that, right? So we would have much better information, reviews from real customers, unbiased reviews, and you have a product with a bunch of reviews and also employees that are tagged on that product with a role credit for their
Mm,
contribution, so that every time somebody buys that product, leaves a review, employees' phone buzzes, right? And they open it up and they are reminded how their work affected people's lives. I believe that would be a better world for everybody, for customers, for businesses, for employees,
mm.
and we would all be better off if that existed.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. Well, Alex, for people that are wanting to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and how it potentially help out in their business as well, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
You can Google feedback rebates. You'll find me. I'm the only platform that does this. Virthium, you can go to website, register. It's free. You can list your products for free. Start offering feedback rebates. I charge a small percentage to process those rebates, but that's the only. There's no tiers. There's nothing. There's no upsells or anything. So it's very easy to try. I have a Shopify app. If you have a Shopify store, that's the best thing. Like you don't even need to do anything. You just like fill out a form and you're good to go. But yeah, you can reach out on LinkedIn. Just search my name, you'll find me. I'm pretty much everywhere. So
Amazing. Amazing. That's fantastic. Well, I definitely recommend anyone that sells a product, whether it's online or in real life. I definitely reach out to Alex and learn a bit more about how he can help you out with that because it is a very, very cool thing to be able to do. So, Alex, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and just sharing your wisdom, experience, and knowledge from what you've learned in your business. So, thank you very much for that. And as a reminder to everyone listening, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way that established businesses are creating a reliable acquisition channel of conversations with their ideal prospects that doesn't rely on any of the old, ineffective traditional marketing methods that everybody hates. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn, have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn. The link to that will be in the show notes below. And until next episode, stay inspired.